know what time it is. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Buenos dias. Good morning. Great rising. How are you, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet? This planet is still phenomenal. Make sure I bring my mic closer to us. I'm really stoked, feeling really pumped, feeling great. We are off to a great start this week. And I must say, a lot has happened. A lot has happened in the last couple hours. Good things, though. Good things. Good things. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Lisa Gillett, also known as Super Agent. I'm your host and creator and founder of Ready Set Real Estate, formerly Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation. We shifted that to the Ready Set Real Estate Youth Club, and author of many books and so much stuff. So much stuff. Stuff. We do Shift Your Thinking on Mondays now. We used to do it on Tuesdays. And then I was having concurrent shows running back to back. And I was like, oh, this is a bit much. I'm doing too much here. So I no longer do that anymore. So I give myself some time now. I'm turning off my phones. I give myself some time now between the shows and everything else that I'm doing. And here we are on Shift Your Thinking. We are continuing our episode. So this is the part of our show, or our platform, where we learn together, we share and read collectively. I'm reading, or continue reading, my from Shift Your Thinking for Success. Shift Your Thinking for Success. Dean Del Sesto. We were doing Shift Your Thinking, 200 Ways to Transform Your Life. Had a fantastic outcome. Like, I am living proof. Ooh, and I must share. Hold on. I've got to share. Let me grab it. I've committed, I think I mentioned this before, I've committed to journaling. So I'm back to journaling. Got my Dream Big journal. Thanks, Mom. My mom, her church ended up, or someone at the church, someone gave her like a box of journals, just beautiful journals. And she was like, I know you use these. So I was wondering if you would, do you want some? Huh? Do I want some? Hello? Of course. You know how much journals cost? Just save me. And with that, I think in my mind, I go, could you imagine this? Like, I manifested more journaling, more journals, savings, like how much these things cost, like $20 each, especially when they're all pretty like this one. This says Dream Big. When they're nice and cute, they're a little bit more pricier, because I have a collection of journals. And I implore, just start writing. That's all. Okay, before we jump into today's episode, let's go ahead and join in with doing our breathing techniques. We'll open up our minds, body, spirit to receive today's message. And make sure you let me know that you're here. Press 1. 2 lets me know you shared it. All right. And let's go ahead and breathe together. All right. Join me. Breathe in and out. Again, breathe in and out. Don't rush through these. Give yourself time to take a breath. Last one, breathe in and out. Whew, that feels fantastic. Imagine how many times a day are you just taking that moment to take a deep breath. I think most of us need to take more of those moments and take deep breaths, because we're sometimes in a high stress or dealing with scenarios that just trigger. It may trigger something. Stuff is happening. It may not go the way you planned. It may not, or it may go the way you planned. Get overly excited. Take a deep breath. All right. Control that energy. All right. We are on episode, goodness, I'm looking at this caption. We are on episode 301. 301. 301. It's amazing. Shift your thinking. Episode 301, Relationship Over Agenda. Uh, if you were listening to our radio podcast, please make sure you turn your notification. If you're on any of the platforms, make sure you're connecting, connect, build, and share at LA Super Agent on all your favorite platforms. Turn on those bell notifications. My son reminded me, he's our digital marketer. He says, Mom, you're not telling them to subscribe. You're not inviting them. So he says, if you ask them, they'll do it. So let's prove Lathan correct. So I'm asking, make sure you turn on the bell notifications. You hit that like button if you found any value in any of the content that we're sharing, and make sure you subscribe. All right, subscribe. Okay, I feel really good, y'all. It's just one of those mornings where it's slow. I feel really zen about life. Again, I've gotten back to journaling. I've missed journaling. I've missed writing. I've been studying. I've been at times information overload. I'm learning so much more in my real estate business. It's like, I mean, just there's so many avenues of real estate that you go, whoa, I had no idea. And so it's all new. I'm going to take a sip of my cocoa. I don't drink coffee, but I do drink cocoa. You know what happened as well? I was typing and I got excited about an email I saw from a client, and I was like, oh, I wanted to respond and didn't realize that I had just set my cocoa down in front of me and, of course, knocked some of it over. Oh, that would have been a disaster because I have a really pretty area rug underneath me. And I just would have been so sad, so sad if it would have been ruined. Okay. Before I do that, of course, before I want to get into a whole sound check, I want to make sure that I've got sound coming. Could you imagine doing an entire show with no sound? I've done that before where I've gone in like a whole 10 minutes and someone finally came and said, Lisa, I can't hear you. And I'm like, what? This is criminal. This is criminal. So let me sound check. And you can grab this book. I mean, I'm not getting any, royalties or anything from this. This is just one of those things that I picked up as a good read, and I felt like, why not share it with you? One of those. Okay, we're good. Okay. I like this one, relationship over agenda. I really like the sound of this. Why? Because you oftentimes, when you connect with people, there is motive. There is motive. Let's focus on building relationships. That will go a lot further than you just coming in because you have something to promote, you have something to sell, you have something to, you have to tell. Let's focus on relationships. And that's where Dean is going this morning with us. All right. So I'm in section 14, where he says, if you want to get the most out of every conversation, think relationship over agenda. He says, if you were to measure the results of every conversation you've ever had, you'd find that some were a liability to progress and others were incomparable in worth. Either way, at the end of every conversation, you set up you set up the trajectory for what's next, and the relationship is further defined. Conversations are incredibly powerful and should be handled with care, as they can kill progress as readily as they can promote it. So why do so many conversations not work? Ooh, pick me, pick me. I know, I know. The reason is simple. He says conversations are often a self focused, one way broadcast instead of a mutually focused two-way street. Drop that in the comments below. Two-way street. He says, translation, not every conversation nor every individual needs to be a means to our end. Although it's so funny because I was watching this snippet of, well, I'm going to finish my thought and it may not apply to this, but it's just what jumped on top of mine. What's the guy, the boxer, Mayweather? I was watching a snippet and he was talking about people in his circle. And he says, if you're a liability, then you don't need to be on my team. We all need to be, you need to be an asset. And as I'm thinking about this, it's almost like, you know, that whole thing, if you don't bring anything to the table, then you can't be part of the conversation. Yet some people may not bring material things to the table, but they can bring fantastic ideas. We've all been there, right? Some are in that progress where as we're elevating and ascending to the next level of our personal growth, our professional growth, it may not come with monetary assets, but it comes with all the intellectual assets that we offer. I'll continue. He says, somewhere within the words of every conversation, there is an opportunity to encourage someone in their goals. Right. It's not always about you. Say it. It's not always about me. It's not always about me. I can spend some of my time helping someone else. Reminds me of Zig Ziglar, right? If you help enough people get what they want or need, then you will also get what you want, need. I'm not quoting it verbatim exactly, but it's around in that area. So he says, somewhere within the words of every conversation, there's an opportunity to encourage someone in their goals, help someone with their work, or discover what's real in their world. The goal is to make some conversational deposits before you make conversational withdrawals. It reminds me of this thing called spiritual escrow. What are you depositing in your spiritual escrow that one day you are going to need to call on? You're going to need to draw on your spiritual escrow. And for me, spiritual escrow are those things that we are doing out of the nature of our being, our spirit, right? We're not doing it for clout. We're not doing it for the gram. These are those moments that you are acting in service, in love, in purity, in humanity, in kindness, not so that you can tell someone else, not so that you can share on social media, but the giving out of your giving. What are you building? What are you depositing in your spiritual escrow? He says it's a practice that may be a little awkward at first, but will become more natural after some time. And then you won't have to think about it. You'll just benefit from it. Imagine that, being in tune with a conversation that is not centered around you and is more centered. And this is not to say that you want to engage with people that are drawing from you. There's this thing called reciprocity. And I imagine Dean is touching on reciprocity because he just said it, right? Focus on them. How can you help? And you too can benefit from it. Reciprocity. He says, make deposits before you make withdrawals. Make conversational deposits before you make conversational withdrawals. He says it's imperative to realize that others are not just a conduit for you to make progress in your life. Those who treat relationships that way are quickly revealed as self-centered solo players, and their brand will ultimately be ignored, demoted, or eliminated. Imagine that. Imagine having a conversation where it's not centered around you. You're not just looking to withdraw, but you are making a deposit into that conversation. I like where this is going because then people remember how you made them feel. You listened. You know, it's funny as we talk about, because again, this is for you mompreneurs, poppreneurs, entrepreneurs, those of you who are building and looking to grow personally and professionally. It reminds me of the feedback that I get, the feedback that I get from clients. You listened, right? You took the time and you listened. You heard what we asked for. You heard what we needed and you delivered. I benefited. I'm going to quote him and then we're going to wrap this up. He says, every conversation has equity. Ooh, I like that word, equity. Of course, I like that word. I'm in real estate. He says, each word is worth something: cash, resources, influence, connection, or relationship. Ooh, I like that. So, with that, I want to share with you. Of course, we can continue this and you can continue on your own. Grab your copy if you're thinking for success by author Dean Del Sesto. I'll leave this with you. Have some meaningful, mutually focused conversations today. Keyword mutually focused conversations today. With that, I say, I love you, love you, love you. Have a powerful and productive week. We'll see you next week on Shift Your Thinking. Bye.